Hey friends, welcome to 2023, and we're going to start it off with a series on self-sabotage. You know, it's that time of year again when everybody is, well, a lot of people are making New Year's resolutions for themselves and, trying to turn over a new leaf, trying to maybe gain a new skill, lose some weight, get something done that they've been wanting to do for a long time, find a new life partner, whatever that is for you. Maybe it's to slow down and stop and smell the roses. I read a statistic that most New Year's resolutions are actually done, kaput, finito, by January 15th. So 2 weeks into January, people give up on their resolutions. And I see that a lot in my practice where people have been working on a goal, or then they just get stuck and they struggle to achieve it, and they don't know why they can't get past that. So this month I thought it would be really helpful to talk about some of the reasons why that happens, and we're going to start with negative self-talk. So we'll answer 3 questions today. What is it? What are some examples that how does it show up in your life, and what are some ways to quench that negative self-talk, to let it just to let it pass. But before that, my name is Nancy Brooker. I am the Living in Yes coach for women who feel overwhelmed by life's demands and just feel that they're not good enough, but are really ready to, transform that inner critic and start embracing life. So they hire me to help them connect with their inner worth and trust themselves so that they can rock their relationships, stress less, and really live in yes. So let's start. What is negative self-talk anyways? Well, according to the dictionary, of course, it's the expression of thoughts and feelings that are counterproductive, and they have the effect of demotivating us. So really, it's that inner critic. It's that part of us that keeps giving you all the reasons why you don't deserve something or why you can't do something. And you probably recognize this. You get caught up in this cycle. You really want something, but for some reason, that voice in your head is constantly telling you all the reasons you don't deserve it, all the reasons why you can't do it, and all the yeah buts, all of your flaws, all of your mistakes, all of your reasons why this can't happen for you. There's new research out of Queen's University that says we have something like 6,200 thoughts a day. And I think previously, I don't know where that number came from, but there's a number, I think it's 60,000 thoughts a day. But it's actually 6,200. And I've also read that 80% of those thoughts are negative and 90% of those thoughts are repeating. So that's a lot of negative self-talk in a day. So what kind of things are these? Well, you already know, right? They're the I don't deserve this. I have no willpower. What will people think of me? People will laugh at me. I don't. This is how my family does things. Like my family is like this, so I'm like this. I can't change. I can't change. There's one right there. I've even heard one, I'm a dumpster fire. A lot of negativity. And where does this come from? It comes from our previous experiences that we've had in life where we've dealt with a challenge and we didn't feel like we were really up to the task. Or something that happened in our childhood, usually in the 5 to 7 year old range, where something happened and we just felt like the only reason for that, the only way we could process it with our limited knowledge at that point, was that there was something wrong with us. And so we've internalized that there's something wrong with us. Or maybe we've had negative input from other people that we've internalized. And then once you're there, the saying goes, it goes on repeat, right? It just keeps repeating in your mind. And the next thing you know, you're stuck, you're stalled out, and you've put the pro in procrastination. So how can we squelch that negative self-talk? Well, number one, we need to deal with the stress first, because you can't think of your way out of negative self-talk because you're in that stress mode. So doing things like sitting down, taking deep breaths, trying a mindfulness practice, maybe where you use your 5 senses to really bring yourself back into the present moment. 5 things that you feel: your feet on the floor, your bum on the chair, whatever that is. 5 things that you hear, 5 things that you see, taste, smell, whatever those things are. Just bringing yourself back into the present moment. And emotional freedom techniques, EFT tapping, amazing tool right at your fingertips to allow you to reduce the stress. What else can you do? Well, you can take note of what you're thinking. I think the more we try and just squelch the thoughts, the more they come up. I think we all know that. What is it saying? Whose voice does it sound like? This will give you some clues as to where it came from, which is actually the next item. Really start digging into, where did this come from? And is it an expectation I have on myself? Is it an expectation somebody else has put on me? Where do those expectations come from? Why do I have that expectation on myself? And start questioning, is it reasonable? Is it unreasonable? Is it reasonable that I should have to do everything perfectly, in every aspect of my life, and always be the perfect one? Probably not. But we learned that somewhere. Where did we learn that? And what can we replace that thought with? So turning it around, reframing is another strategy. Thinking about, when the thoughts come up, what thoughts can we replace them with? Taking time really to remember our wins in our life. That's where that's really going to become important, because the negative part of us, that inner critic, tends to remember all the things that went badly. And so we have to really work to remember the wins that we've had. So make a list of your wins and remind yourself of them. So when you have those negative thoughts, remember your wins and turn that into a positive thought. And the more you do that, you'll create a habit, which is the next item. Right? The more you react to an old stimulus, in a new way to an old stimulus, the more it'll stick. The quicker your habit will form. So really thinking, remembering to turn those thoughts around when they do come up. So it starts with noticing them. We really need to notice them. And if all else fails, you can, one strategy, people say just say no to the negative thought, but honestly, I've never seen that actually work. But what you can do is say, thank you, thought, for coming up. I know you're trying to protect me from something. I'm going to give you this 10-minute time slot, 5-10-minute time slot every morning, or every, once a week, that you can talk to me. And that's your time slot, but now's not your time slot. So you're not pushing it away. You're just deferring it and allowing it its own time to speak. And what you will find usually is that it just forgets and it doesn't come up during that time period. So because you're allowing it to have its voice. But I think the best, one of the best things that you can do is just reduce that stress around whatever that trigger is, because once you start reducing that stress, you can actually start applying these other strategies. So that negativity, you don't have to listen to it, but it's hard when it's been there and going and going and going. And that's maybe when it's time to ask for help. And that's where coaching can come in as well, to help you really process whatever's going on, so you can release that negative chatter and move forward with whatever it is that you want in your life. So I'll leave you with this quote from Lisa Hayes: "Be careful how you talk to yourself, because you're listening." So remember, you are awesome and amazing, and thank you so much for listening to this. And grab your freebies down below. I would love to hear from you. Take good care. Happy New Year. Bye now.